This is our first activity, a wetland model. So what is a wetland? A wetland is a naturally occurring environment that filters water, reduces flooding, provides habitat, increases biodiversity, and stores carbon. In this activity, we're going to learn how wetlands work. So first, open your folder and take out the paper labeled 1. Next, open your bag and pull out this container with a red lid labeled 1, and then this bag of clay also labeled 1. So open your tub and take out all the supplies that are in it. You have 2 cups of food coloring, 1 blue, 1 red. They each have R and B on it respectively. You have your sponge, this little piece of clay that you can use to adhere your sponge to it, and then your soil. So you want to take everything out of there. So you want to open your bag with the clay in it and take it out. So what you want to do first is you want to mold this clay so it looks like a hill. You want to mold it into the side of the tub so that represents the hill. In the end, it should look something like this. So we're gonna model this wetland with a scenario. So let's imagine it's a spring day and Farmer Smith has tilled and fertilized his field and is ready to plant his crop. So this will represent his field. So to prepare your water, you want to open these little cups and pour some water in it and then mix it around. See, my red isn't super concentrated, so I'm going to put the lid on and mix it around a little bit more. So the first thing we want to do is we want to show what it looks like when there's no wetland and it's just normal rainwater. So before you dump your water on it, so how do you think the water will travel down the hill? The answer is the water will travel from the high area of the hill to the lower area into the bottom of the tub. This represents like the basin of the water. So you want to pour your water, don't pour all of it, just pour a little bit. And this represents how the water will flow down the hill into this basin. Then you want to pour this clean water back into your little tub. So next we're going to add the soil to represent like what the farmland would look like. So you want to take your little thing of soil. Don't sprinkle all of it, but sprinkle like a good amount all over this hillside. This represents Farmer Smith's till field. So next we're going to pour this red water on it, and this will represent what the nitrogen does when it rains. So you see how the nitrogen is flowing off of the hill into the basin where presumably there would be a lake or a pond or something. So what has happened to the water in the basin? The answer is the water is no longer blue. All the dissolved soil is turning it brown, and the red soil is contaminating it. So this could represent what's happening in our streams and rivers and what's happening in the Gulf of Mexico when the waters join together in a watershed. So next you want to discard your soil in a tub like this because we can't use it anymore. So let's go to a different scenario. So it's a spring day and Farmer Jones has worked with the NRCS to reconstruct a wetland near his farm, and now he has prepared his field for planting. So you want to take your sponge and you want to use this little bit of sticky stuff to adhere it to the sides of the tub. So I would just kind of like stick it to the bottom, stick it to the sides, you know. And kind of push it down there so you know it's sticking to it. It probably won't be perfect, but it's as good as we can get. So this sponge represents the wetland that Farmer Jones has constructed. So then you want to add some more soil to represent his field. So what do you think happens if rain will fall on this field? The answer is the soil might end up in the bottom of the tub and the stream will turn brown because of all the soil and the sediment. So what do you think will happen to the water that's going to be in the basin? So you want to take this water and it'll represent the water that's in your basin. So what do you think will happen to it? You think it'll turn blue or brown or whatever? So you add your blue water, and then the day after he prepares his field, there is a storm. So you take your red water and you pour it over your field. So what happens to the water when it reaches the sponge? So what happened to the water when it reaches the sponge? The water is absorbed by the sponge. As you can see, the red is absorbed by the sponge and it doesn't enter the basin, thus it doesn't pollute the water. So, is there any red water left in this basin? No, the sponge picked it all up and none could enter the water, which is a good thing. So how does this plastic tub, this clay hill, and this sponge represent a wetland? Well, wetlands are typically located in low areas like basins to collect water, and this plastic tub represents the basin. Water flows downhill, so a clay hill, and into the land. This sponge represents the wetland and it holds water and absorbs the nutrients. Wetlands are like a sponge.